This is a little comping piece that's based all around thirds. We're in the key of A minor here, so because that's the relative minor of C, we're going to see all the same shapes that we do for C thirds. Now just taking a quick look at the ones that are in motion here, I'm using adjacent strings. I've got the 5th string and 4th string. This is the one I start on, and that's a good starting point for seeing it up the neck. And as we do in all the other intervals, you just have to be able to climb the scale simultaneously on these 2 notes. So I have a C starting point and an E starting point. And if I go right up the scale, I have C, E, D, F, and so forth. So those are thirds going up the 5th and 4th string with the root note, that is root third, on the 5th string. You can also see them, of course, across any of the string pairs. And let's just take another look at the pairs up here between the 3rd and 2nd string. Starting down here, I'm in A minor, so I'll look at A to C. So those are other shapes on another pair of strings. Again, refer to the charts to see all the shapes as they cross the neck both horizontally and vertically. This is a little comping part in A minor, all based on thirds. All the comping parts that I play are based on thirds. And they work nicely in a comp because you can really afford to be kind of nice and sparse with your comping. So you don't have to dial up entire chords, plus we've got our bass going that covers our root note. So that gives us a lot of room. And we start out with thirds here that are taking me from A minor to B minor. Now these might not look like A minors and B minors, but if you had your root in place, it does. So I've got a minor interval right there that kind of lays out the chord, shows me that I'm in A minor here. So my progression is just A minor to B minor to C major, B minor, A minor, all back and forth. So these thirds will work, and I've got a lot of room to go as long as I stay diatonic to the key, stay within the notes of A minor, which are the same notes as in C. My thirds are going to work. So I'm just moving these pairs back and forth, sliding them up and back, and then I come back and forth with those, and then I come into a couple more thirds, again, right out of the chords. This one out of A minor, this is a third of A to C, and this is a third of F sharp to B, bringing out the B minor. And then to bring out my C major chord, or C major 7, I plant these thirds up on top. This is a G to a B, right? B is the major 7 in C, so it's a nice choice of third. Now my part goes, and this little kind of burping up part is an arpeggio, and arpeggios are all based on thirds. If you line up thirds rather than stacking them, as we do when we're playing these double stop intervals, when you line them up, you go in steps of thirds. From A to C is a third, from C to E is a third, E to G is a third. I've got an arpeggio. So lining up your thirds that way gives you arpeggios. I'm just into some more pairs here, again right out of A minor 7 and B minor 7 chords and C major 7 chords. And when I wrap it up, again, I'm really hitting the same arpeggios down here, up an octave. And then a couple of closing chords. This one's right out of all staying diatonic to A minor as well. And then a B minor chord. And then I close on an A minor 7. Now, with just these 2 notes, I establish a minor sound, right? If you heard this, that's got a major sound. Here I'm into minor, and I digress a little bit from the thirds thing just to plant a 7 on top, right? This is my minor 7 of A is G. So just to make the point that those 2 notes with 1 on top gives me a very full sounding chord with very few notes. So I close with